Arsenal have set a £50 million price tag on Folarin Balogun, which seems high when you look at the rest of their roster. We're going to talk about that and more here on Pints and Punditry. Welcome back to Pints and Punditry here at Total FIFA Career Mode. Today we're talking Folarin Balogun, who we've talked about a lot in the past in his pursuit, or I should say the United States pursuit of his services, and now that they have him, he's looking for regular club playing time, and it doesn't look like he's going to get it with Arsenal, and that's fine. They're going to sell him, but to who and for how much, that's what's up in the air. We're going to talk about that today. As we do, I would love to get your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Hit that like button for us while you're at it, and of course follow us on Twitter at Total FIFA Career Mode. So the news surrounding Balogun, who has been assumed will be sold most of the year, or most of the summer rather, is that Arsenal is asking £50 million for a transfer fee, and there's a couple ways to look at that. If you look at Balogun in a vacuum, is he worth that? He's coming off of a fantastic year in the French league, and he's proven that he can score goals at a high level. Not necessarily Premier League high, not necessarily even Serie A high, because the French league has fallen on hard times, but it's still a good league. It's still a top 5 to 7 league in the world, and he got significant playing time and he produced, and that's all you can really ask. So he clearly has value. He's also done well in his limited playing time with the U.S. men's national team, and he's now a prominent figure there. So for that reason, the valuation is not that high. Do I personally think 50 is a little high? Yeah, it feels a little on the high side, but not egregiously so, and we've seen some pretty massive transfer fees go this summer, so it's not totally out of the question. But it does feel a little bit high. Where I really have issue with it is when you compare it to other moves and other valuations that Arsenal has had in the very recent past. And I'm speaking specifically of their acquisition of Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City last summer. They signed him, initiated a transfer for him a little over a year ago. It was early July of 2022. That move was for 50.2 million euros, which in the transfer, in the conversion, comes out to about 47 million, depending on the actual day it took place. So they valued Gabriel Jesus similarly to Folarin Balogun just 1 year ago. Now, Jesus went out and had a very good year, but I don't think his value changed that dramatically. Transfermarket.com has him at about 75 million if they were to transfer him today. I think that's high, but not if you're valuing Balogun at 50. So I'm trying to figure out where this comes in on the spectrum. And the reason it's not jiving with me in my brain is because they don't seem to have any intention of ever having given Balogun any playing time, right? There's never been any discussion of, oh, we'll keep you as the number 2, currently occupied by Eddie Nketiah, and we'll give Balogun more playing time. He'll provide the competition. And competition is the key here because Arsenal, particularly this summer, has stressed internal competition as being a huge motivator for them. They're doing that as we speak, trying to get David Raya in to give Aaron Ramsdale competition. They love the concept of internal competition. And with outfield players, I totally agree with it. I think it's fantastic. But they don't seem to want to do that with Balogun. Now, maybe it comes from their internal talks with him, and he has just said, I don't want any part of that. Send me somewhere I can play or play me. But you would think, particularly with Gabriel Jesus has had some injury history. And early in the summer, obviously, they didn't have Kai Havertz yet. So they were in the market for attacking help. And Kai Havertz operates as a second striker, as the backup for Jesus, as we saw in the Community Shield when Gabby was out with injury. So Kai Havertz started as the striker. And I think Chelsea really proved that he is not a competent, or his time at Chelsea proved that he is not really competent playing extended periods of time as a striker, although he was the number 9 on their Champions League winning team. But nevertheless, he has proven over the long haul that he is not truly a number 9. But he can fill in there from time to time. But the point is they were in the market for that kind of player, a goal scorer, some sort of attacking help, and yet they've got Balogun sitting right there. Now, if their internal evaluations have said, no, we just don't think he's the caliber of what we want, hey, I respect that. They're Arsenal. They've done a really good job of evaluating lately. If they determine that he's not their caliber player, I respect that. But then he's not a $50 million player, right? You can't have it both ways, and that's what it feels like Arsenal's trying to do. You just paid about the same amount for Gabi Jesus a year ago. Gabi did not get that much better, and yet this guy cannot sniff him in competition. You have no intention of making him your number 2, of letting him challenge Gabi Jesus for playing time, or of giving him part-time playing time, or finding him time on the wing, or going with 2 strikers, or any of the different ways you could use both of these players. They like Eddie Nketiah. He's probably about a $25 million valuation, right? And he's a good player, nothing against him. But Balogun, if you're using these valuations, transfer market has Nketiah around $25 million, and that feels about right. I don't know what the market has been for him, but that seems like it's in the ballpark. You're saying Balogun is twice the value, and yet he can't sniff the field? What's happening here? What am I missing? Why is he not more of a challenge for Jesus, which Arsenal has prioritized this year and said is such an important factor for making everybody better? So I don't understand where the connection between one or the other is. You either don't think he's good enough to challenge your current starter and or make an impact off the bench, or you think he's worth $50 million. But I don't see how it can be both, and it doesn't seem to me as simple as just, well, we'd love to keep him as the number 2, but he doesn't want it, so we're gonna send him off. Because if that's the case, then the whole world knows it, right? If that's your only argument is, well, we'd love to keep him as a number 2 striker, but he's not okay with the part-time playing time, and so we have no choice but to transfer him off, then I hate to tell you, Arsenal, you're not getting $50 million for him. Right? Because then the whole world has the leverage. They know you've got to get rid of him because you don't want this disgruntled guy in there, and you've shown no intention of actually playing him as your number 2. That's been Eddie Nketiah. So something's not adding up here. I'm not seeing where their behavior is consistent with the $50 million valuation, or £50 million valuation, I should say, and the market seems to be dictating that because Balogun has been linked to a half a dozen clubs, a lot in Serie A, back in France, and yet nobody's anywhere near that valuation. Everybody is closer to that £30 million or euro range. So I don't see them getting 50 for him, and I understand why, even though I think he's a fantastic player. It seems too high for me. What do you think? I'd love to get your comments below. Are they right? Are they wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? Please hit that comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and follow us here on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at TotalFIFACM. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry. This is Total FIFA Career Mode.